welcome to another edition of the Everlast Power video series. In today's edition, we're going to take a look at MIG maintenance issues. Now, MIG welding is a fairly dirty form of welding. You get a lot of spatter, you have a lot of byproduct from the MIG weld. We're going to show you some things to actually keep your MIG in top running condition today so that you don't have to worry about costly repairs and expensive maintenance later on. What we have here is your Benzel MIG gun from the Everlast i-MIG series. Now we use a Benzel or Trafamet MIG gun. Now this is not that important. What's important is actually how you take care of this. Now whether it's our product or anybody's product, nozzle maintenance is an issue. If you ever have welded with a MIG very long, this right here is a pretty common sight. You can see the slag buildup back inside of the cavity of the nozzle. And what's going to happen is this is actually going to bridge over against your contact tip and it's going to short out. And you're going to have problems with gas flow, you're going to have problems with porosity because you don't have good gas flow, and it's just going to be an ugly mess. And what's going to happen from time to time is that some of the slag is actually going to break off and go down into your weld. And that's something that you absolutely don't want to have happen. So what we're going to do, we're going to discuss a couple of products that will help prevent this from happening. And we're going to introduce to you a tool that will help you work on this and keep this stuff cleaned out. Now we've removed the nozzle here. You can actually see some of the slag building up on the contact tip. Now I've used this gun a lot. It's got some wear and everything on it. And to remove the nozzle on one of our guns, you actually screw the nozzle off. There's a spring here, and I actually have removed the spring, and I've stuffed it back up in here for now so I don't lose it. But this spring, it doesn't really hold anything as far as tension, but it serves as kind of a thread so that you can actually thread your nozzle on and off. And when you can do that, you can actually change your stick out by opening up the nozzle a little bit, and it will, as you screw it out, it'll go further out or further in. That's a good idea, and that's just an aside here for the while we're doing the project here. The nozzle's pretty cluttered up on the end here. And what we've got to do, we've got to actually break out the MIG pliers, and we start breaking this out here. Now this is good to pull the material out. Now what these are a pair of MIG pliers, and they've got a thing down here to grab a hold of the hot nozzle. They've got a place to cut your wire, and then they've got another place here to take your contact tip off. Everybody needs a pair of pliers. These look sort of like a pair of needle nose, and really they are a little bit of glorified needle nose pliers, but they've got a purpose for how they're built. Now, the tip here is great for handling hot pieces of metal or whatever, but that's not the primary design of it. You can actually get down in your nozzle right here, and you can actually get this slag that's built up out. Then you can actually take the MIG nose of the pliers and stick down in here and get a pretty good job of cleaning it out. Now this nozzle's got some wear on it, and I'm going to be replacing it shortly. But I've got down in here and I've got most of the slag out. Now I've reinstalled the nozzle, and it's pretty clean in here, and I could go again and weld if I wanted to for a little while until I built up some more slag. And this a lot of time will happen if you're welding out of position a lot faster than it will if you're welding flat. And that's going to also depend on how much inductance or arc force control you have on the MIG, because at certain levels it's going to spatter more than others. Now I'd like to introduce to you a product here that's a Nozzle Gel. Now I'm not endorsing a particular name brand today. It just happens to be that I've got several products here from the name brand because they are what I buy locally. Now this is a Nozzle Gel, and it has a jelly gelatin-like substance in here. And the purpose of it is to actually provide you something that you can actually keep your nozzle clean and keep the slag from sticking on the inside of your nozzle. You need to start welding with this to actually get the nozzle hot enough. And then what you do, you plunge the nozzle down in the gel while it's hot. And this will liquefy some of this, but it will re-gel later. But what you want to do is you want to actually get some of this coating on the surface of the nozzle here and down on the inside. What it does, it not only lubricates the tip here, but it provides a surface that the slag will not stick to. And this is a good thing to do, about every hour or so if you're using the MIG a good bit. Now, it may actually need more than that sometimes, or you may not need it but once a day. When you do use this stuff, I typically recommend that you run a short bead someplace else, because if you get too much on here, this stuff can actually get down in your weld and cause some porosity and stuff if you get too much of it. Nozzle gel is not that expensive, so I'd recommend that you look at your local supply store when you're buying this stuff, and they may have a couple of brands that you can compare the two and find the one that you like the best. What we have here is an alternative to nozzle gel. This is a nozzle spray, and you can buy it in a store brand. You can buy it formulated differently. There are different kinds of this. Some people actually use something like a spray for cooking, or something that you spray on a pan. I don't recommend that, because that can be a little bit heavy and it can cause some problems that you don't like to deal with, such as porosity and contamination of your weld. So there is a nozzle spray, and you just basically spray it in the tip of the nozzle like that, and just a little bit's all you need. You don't need to coat the entire thing, or just get it so it's just dripping out the end. Now, if the nozzle's hot, so you're going to get some vaporization of the spray, and that's fine. Just don't inhale it. Now, this product actually is a good product to keep sprayed on your table, to keep the welding spatter off, and to keep the table from rusting. I keep this sprayed on my table, and I don't develop a lot of surface rust. You know, you'll have a little sheen to the table when you get done, and if you put too much, it'll be kind of sticky or tacky. But if you'll polish it in with like an old shop rag or something, it'll do a really nice job in protecting your table as well. If you're concerned about the environment, they do have some environmentally safe type cleaners here. They cost a little bit more, but you can find them. Both of these products do essentially the same thing, and I use both of them interchangeably. Sometimes I need the gel and sometimes I need the spray, and I keep both of them around. Now, for you, you may only need one, and that's fine. Just experiment with both of them before you settle on one and decide that you like one over the other. I always keep one of these in my toolbox. What this is a line lubricator. Now, the line lubricator, as you can see here in the package picture here, it actually goes between the wire and the wire feeder. And all it does is just rest on the wire, and it provides a lubrication over the line as it goes down. Now, this is not going to be harmful to your welding, but it also cleans off the dust and the dirt and the grit that may actually go into your MIG gun. And one of the problems with dirt and dust in your MIG gun is that it can actually plug up your liner and cause feeding problems. The other issue is that a lot of this wire has a metal coating on it, and it'll start flaking off as it goes through the feeder. And as it goes through the feeder, it'll build up in the grooves and stuff, and it'll also cause problems with feeding. So this line lubricator is actually a good product to buy to keep your feeding problems down to a minimum. I've opened up the packaging here, and you actually have a cleaner pad and a lubricator pad. Now, on the cleaner pad will go to the rear or to the wire roll side, and this will actually go to the wire feeder side. So you want to make sure that both are kind of coupled together here. They just float on the wire, and these will bump up against the intake part of the wire feeder, and they'll just kind of float as the wire is being fed out. Now, they won't foul up or get into the wire, but if they do, you need to actually stop and find out what's happening. Now, you can actually see right here, there's a little split, and these just pop down over the wire. For some reason, you're having to feed aluminum through your main MIG gun, and you can't use a spool gun. Don't use both of these. Just use the cleaner pad. You don't want to use a lubricant on the aluminum wire. You don't have to use these all the time, and for some of the higher quality wires, you probably won't have to use them at all. But what this does, if you've noticed a little bit of flaking at the bottom of your wire feeder, or you see chunks of copper or something down there where you've had some copper coated wire, or you look at your drive rolls and they look like they're getting filled up with metal filings or something, you need to use some of this. This will actually cut that down, and it'll also keep from plugging your liner. Let's introduce these three products, and there's new stuff on the market all the time. but I wanted to introduce to you the concept of MIG maintenance and show you how easy it is and how fairly inexpensive it is to keep your MIG running in top shape. Well, we hope this short video was helpful to you. The purpose of the video is to highlight the actual need for maintenance and the necessity to take care of your MIG welder. It's an investment and you need to take care of it. Make sure you don't have long-term maintenance issues or you have difficulties with wire fitting, because it can be very expensive and very frustrating trying to take care of these problems. Now, if you have any more questions about MIG maintenance or MIG products from Everlast, please give us a call at the number listed at the end of the video.